continuing here with our book of intuitive eating, we're going to talk about dieting and familiarity. So in order to control eating, chronic dieters abide by very rigid rules that dictate what they can and cannot eat with little regard to their experience of hunger, fullness, and satisfaction. Consequently, chronic dieters live in their heads and second guess the needs of their bodies. After a while, interoceptive awareness, which we talked about last week, the ability to perceive physical sensations that arise from within the body, goes dormant. You will not hear it. Your body will stop talking to you because it realizes, hey, she's not listening. Dieters tend to evaluate their successes or failures of eating in terms of the current day. Success requires getting through the day with no violations of the diet. Even just thinking that you have blown your diet is enough to trigger the consumption of more food regardless of hunger and fullness levels. Consequently, restrained eaters do not really end up eating less food overall. Researchers suggest that a high restraint eating score, so it's meaning a very high degree of restrained eating, seems to more accurately reflect eating-related guilt rather than the actual food consumed. In the case of eating, habituation is the reason why leftovers become less appealing over time, even if it is your favorite food. The more you eat the same food, the less enticement it offers. It's just food. It doesn't have any value anymore. Sure, it tastes good, but it becomes like no big deal. Several studies have demonstrated the habituation effect with many different foods, including pizza, chocolate, chips, basically all processed foods. The problem for chronic dieters is that forbidden food rules prevent the habituation response. So if you're not getting that, every time that it's in your house, it's going to be an issue. And those are going to become your problem foods, your trigger foods, which we don't want. We don't want any food to trigger you. We just want food as food with no emotional value to it. Instead, a vicious cycle ensues with each diet. So the diet begins with food restriction, followed by a broken restraint and the consumption of forbidden foods, which triggers feelings of guilt and a lack of control over eating those foods. That guilt and uncontrolled eating provide false evidence that more rules are needed to constrain the eating. There are many ways to make peace with food, but it goes more smoothly if we harness what we have learned from habituation research. For example, we know that novelty, variety, and distraction delay the habituation process. So it's helpful to eat without distraction and to choose the same food and the same flavor before moving on to another food. For example, if you wanted to make peace with ice cream, it's best to choose one flavor rather than buying a variety of flavors. Varying the flavor or even the brand extends the period of novelty, and it's almost like starting anew with each flavor, even though it's the same kind of food. So we want to make sure to not do that. So even if you're eating the same junk food over and over again, you're decreasing its value every single time. Remember, intuitive eating is about listening to all of the messages your body gives you and striving to feel good in your body as a result of your food choices. As you become an intuitive eater, your body will come to respond to foods that make it feel good. And so if you are in tune with your body, you'll want those so-called forbidden foods less because they might make you feel like crap. And a lot of the people that I work with, specifically as we transition to more whole foods, if they do have processed foods, they tend to almost immediately feel like crap or feel like crap for a couple of days because they're realizing, oh, my body actually does not like this. Like my brain likes it, my taste buds like it, but my body does not like it. So you're more or less going to decide, hey, do I want my body to feel like this all the time, or I'm actually feeling better? I don't want that as much. Or instead of 6 Oreos, I'm only going to have 2 because that's what my body will allow me without feeling like crap. So listen to your body. It will tell you everything that you need to know. There's a method that's called cognitive behavioral therapy, and that involves evaluating your thoughts and reframing them if they're faulty, which ultimately affects your behavior. The process begins with observing your thoughts and questioning whether a thought is reasonable. So is there any scientific evidence to support your thought, or does it sound unjustifiable, unreasonable, or faulty? Once you have identified an unreasonable or illogical thought, you got to challenge it by replacing it with a logical thought. So like, I can't have this food. Why? Reflecting on your actual past experiences will help you evaluate whether your present thought has any truth or accuracy and whether it has actually resulted in any benefit to you. A second way you can challenge cognitive distortions or myths is by reframing them with facts. The second way to work with it's called the food police, it's in your mind. That thought is a simple process of just observing your thoughts without allowing them to occupy your mind and without passing any judgment on them. You observe them, and that's it. This is a form of mindfulness called curious awareness. Our minds habitually take hold of a thought and build a narrative or a story around it, which can create unnecessary suffering. A robust body of research shows that using curious awareness through mindfulness-based meditation can be incredibly beneficial to your mental health. There are many ways to practice doing this. Place your awareness on the present moment rather than the thought. Pay attention to one of your senses, so sight, touch, sound, anything like that. You can simply label the thought as thinking or mere thoughts, not facts. Consider learning and developing a regular meditation practice. I know at the beginning of the month, I had a pretty long video about different types of meditations if like you just sitting in the quiet doesn't work for you. So you could try one of those. So just as beliefs inform your thoughts can have a powerful impact on your feelings. Let's say that you realize that you're feeling anxious. If you explore the thought that preceded that feeling, it might be, I ate too much today. By evaluating and challenging that thought, the ensuing feeling is likely to be more neutral or even positive. A list of feelings that are often connected with eating in your body include anxiety, sadness, fear, disappointment, remorse, envy, anger, and shame. Don't forget, beliefs create thoughts, which affect feelings and then behavior.